morning. It is Sunday morning. It's about 8:30. We are underway, kinda. Very little wind this morning. So we needed to motor out of the little cove, and we're now out in Toothaker Bay, I think. And we have a little bit of a wind. The forecast is 5 to 10 out of the south today. And we have no real agenda in mind. I was thinking I'd go north, maybe through an island chain that's off the... Sorry about that. North through an island chain that's off the east coast of east side of Swans Island, because I've never been through there before, and with a southerly breeze, that should be good. And then back through Casco Passage to the west, perhaps. My centerboard is complaining. Well, we'll see what develops. Some things need my attention. Well, it's a few minutes later and the wind has come back. Not much different than it was before, maybe a little stronger. So we're once again under sail. We're currently kind of close hauled, and we're crossing over to Long Island to the east. And if we can finagle it, we'll maybe take a run through the harbor before heading north. Today in general was not a great day. It wasn't a bad day. It just things just didn't kind of work. Nothing went wrong really. So the weather forecast was for winds out of the south 5 to 10. And early in the morning we had no winds, but that's pretty common. Oh, and I attempted to take advantage of no winds by, once again, trying to fly the drone in Schooner Cove there this morning, and I screwed up. And yeah, I showed in a video for the last sale the way I launch, you know, because there isn't a lot of flat place on the 22-foot sailboat. The way I launch and retrieve the drone from the boat itself is to do it from the bimini, and that requires that I raise the boom so that it's out of the way. And apparently I didn't raise it enough, because I pushed the launch button and it went up and it hit the boom, and unfortunately crashed right back into the cockpit. So I didn't lose the drone, but it's definitely got a couple of damaged propellers, and I'm not going to try to play around with fixing those here on the boat, because I have to do some research. I think there's some tricks to it. It's not obvious. So anyway, but then eventually we did get some wind, and we managed to sail. It didn't come out of the south, and we managed to sail through Frenchboro Harbor on Long Island. I think it might have another name, but it's the harbor for the town of Frenchboro. And that was kind of fun, and we got some video there. And then we started heading north to go through some islands, well, that are north of there, that I haven't, you know, kind of meandered through before. They're, not that there's much there, but it was just something different. But the wind died as I was crossing to those islands, and I started motoring, and I don't know, I guess I was depressed about the lack of wind or something. I kind of lost interest, so I didn't take much video after that, really. So eventually we got up to the north end of the passage between those islands, and we got a little bit of video. Yeah, a little bit. Well, there was a little bit of wind, and we got a little bit of video too. To cross over back to Swans Island, and then we found an anchorage on Swans Island, and there's a little bit of a story about that we can. It'll be easier to talk about when we do the chart. Anyway, so we're in well, a decent harbor in terms of weather protection, not very picturesque. So, and the first is important because there is the wind has picked up some. It's kind of intermittent, which is the story of the day. But it's too windy for me to talk through, you know, narrate a look around the harbor, and it's not very interested, and I'm just can't work up the enthusiasm to do a harbor look around, I'm sorry to say. But we will do the chart. And everything fits on one chart, since we basically kind of went in a circle today. So here is that Schooner Cove on Harbor Island, here near Burnt Coat Harbor, on the southern side of Swans Island, which of course is off the coast of Maine. Here is Mount Desert Island for orientation purposes. Anyway, so we came out again under motor and made our way partway across here, and then the wind did come in as predicted, and so which was out of the south, and reasonable, I'd say 5 to 10 probably. And so we came in through here, all under sail, got some nice pictures. So this is the town of Frenchboro on Long Island, and it says the harbor is actually called Luntz Harbor, not Frenchboro Harbor. whoever Lunt is. So it came out here. I was kind of surprised. I didn't know there's actual state of Maine ferry service to here, and I passed the ferry both coming and going as I was out here. Anyway, when we got here and came around this corner and headed up to here, and the wind died, and we waited for a while, and it didn't come back, so we started the motor and headed up this way, and there's some fishery aquaculture stuff going on in here, and I have no idea, but it's a big operation, whatever it is in here, and I should have taken some pictures, but I forgot. So motored all the way up, and the wind started to come back as we came around here, and we did manage to sail across this area between Placentia and Swans, and back over to Casco Passage, which you may recall from a couple of days ago. And we came over here to see about staying in Buckle Harbor. Now, Buckle Harbor is it's a very popular harbor. And it's a Sunday night. You would think it's still technically weekend. I don't know. Maybe people weren't going to stay the night, but there were already a lot of boats in there, and other boats making a beeline for it. So that seemed too crowded for me. So I came back this way. I have a note. There's an active captain anchorage right up in here. I was thinking of that, but there's a boat in there. So I continued on. I've done some scouting out of potential anchorages here and there, and I had one that's way down in here, and I was afraid this would be full of boats too, but it's not. There's a boat that's anchored way back here, a pretty big boat. There's a boat on a mooring close to the entryway, but I'm pretty far down into this harbor. Now this is kind of lowland through here. It's not giving me the best protection from winds, but it's still pretty good, and I'm happy enough with it. And that was what we did today. Well, I will show you this much of the anchorage, which I can do standing in the cabin. So on the far horizon there is, I don't know if that's Cadillac, but it's Acadia Park. It looks bigger to my eye than it does on the screen. And we're doing the usual Rose 22 anchor dance here. So the sailboat that's right there, center now, is on a mooring. And there's one there that's anchored. And right by the engine now, a couple hundred feet behind me, is another mooring ball that's empty. When I marked this out as a potential anchorage, I put a spot on the chart and said this is a good place to drop the anchor right here, and it's exactly where that mooring is. So fortunately, this little bay gets shallow very slowly. So I came in at low speed and did some circling around, and I'm anchored in about, out there is about 7 feet of water. I'm in about 5 feet of water at low tide. It was dead low when I got here, so I'm not sure I've anchored in quite this shallow, but as I said, I checked it out, so I'm sure if I don't drag anchor, I'm quite fine. But I did pull up the rudder blade, so there's no chance that it will somehow ever strike the bottom, which is I think the worst damage that would be caused, if I swung into a shallow area. Anyway, that's where we are for tonight. And we've been here a couple hours and the anchor seems holding just fine. So all to the good. And tonight's dinner is chicken and rice with vegetables and some wine, of course.